This week's best MMA bets, we're talking UFC Vegas 98, recording live from Tampa, Florida. So wish me well with a hurricane incoming. I'm going to talk my lock of the week, my most confident picks, favorite underdogs, Degen Props, and then we're going to finish it out with the fan favorite parlay section. Make sure you all smash the like button. If you're new, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on and make sure you share the video too. Listen, I'm going to be doing as much content as I can with this storm approaching, and I'm dropping some fire with this week's best MMA bets. Now, we are going to look at last week real quick. It's 29-28. It's 29-28 Aldo. I can already see it. Jose Aldo. No, fuck this shit. Fuck this shit. I'm leaving, bro. Fuck this shit. Fuck. What the hell, man? Damn. Boring. This fucking clinch pressuring. Bullshit. Aldo did more damage in round 3. The lock was robbed from me. Aldo won the fight. I went back and rewatched it. I definitely felt Aldo won watching it a second time. And I feel I had the lock taken right from my hands. And we went underdog lock last week, and it looked great. I feel as though the MMA gods are in my favor this week after I was robbed last week. So I'm going underdog lock 2 weeks in a row. We're jumping right into it. The lock of the week. Brandon Royval to beat Tatsuro Taira. I feel it. I feel it strongly. I think that he's a bad matchup for Taira. I feel like Taira has a ton of hype, and I think he's a great up-and-comer. But why is he a minus 270 favorite against a former title challenger and a Brandon Royval who just beat Brandon Morono, the former champion? You would think the odds would be closer. The biggest win for Taira is Alex Perez. It was a nice sweep to get him down, but it was an injury that stopped the fight, and he lost the first round. When you look at it, 2 fights before that, he's struggling in round 3. Edgar Chairez has him locked in with a ghillie from Mount at the end of the fight. And now he's going to beat a Brandon Royval, and he's this chalky favorite? I don't think so. Brandon Royval is the underdog lock. He's around the plus 230 range, which I think is an absolute disrespect to a guy that's been in the UFC for a while, that's been doing good in the UFC for a while, and I think has looked better than ever before. Royval's striking has looked cleaner than ever. He's not fighting as reckless as he used to, but he still brings the chaos factor. Royval's better at striking than Taira. Tatsuro Taira's hands are getting hyped up because he knocked out Carlos Hernandez. Come on, man. He throws straight shots that are okay, and, he's going to beat some of the, lower tier guys at striking. But as you get to the elite, I think that's where he's going to struggle. He's good at 24, and I think Taira eventually does challenge for a belt. But beating Brandon Royval at 24 when Royval's primed at 32 and damn close to being at the top of the weight class? No way. Especially when you throw underdog odds at a guy who's been crushing it. I don't understand it. I disagree with the odds. I think that Brandon Royval is a bad stylistic matchup for Taira. Being that he's a southpaw adds an interesting factor to the fight. Adding in his volume and good gas tank and nasty jiu-jitsu, it's not like Royval is some slouch on the floor. Royval can out-grapple a lot of guys at flyweight, and though Taira has really nasty submission skills, I don't see it working here with Royval, and we saw Taira have his worst moment in the UFC with Edgar Chairez, who's not near the level of Royval on the ground, but does have kind of a similar skinny, long arms and legs frame. I think Royval is pulling the submission upset off. I think he's going to shock everybody, and that's why I'm locking Brandon Royval, and we're doubling down 2 weeks in a row, going for an underdog during the lock. And this one, we're going to make it right. Plus 1,800 for the sub. I don't think club and sub is crazy, because I could see Royval touching Taira up on the feet, because I do feel as though Taira lacks a little bit of head movement. I also think Royval's grappling defense, if Taira's attempting takedowns, is going to be solid. I'm not sold that Tatsuro Taira is this hyper elite wrestler on top of his slick submission skills. He isn't. He's definitely not. We haven't seen any evidence of it. He beat Alex Perez, and that's a great win. Perez is a strong top 10 guy, but by no means is he near the level of Royval. Royval has a significantly better resume. Royval's got a Kai Kara-France win, a Brandon Morono win. He beat Tim Elliott in his debut, and Elliott's an OG. I really got to say, this to me is one of the weirdest lines ever. If you would have told me Taira is a slight favorite because of the hype coming in, I'd say I get it. But at minus 270 now and the odds spreading wider, Royval, a plus 230 underdogs, got to be the lock for me. I'm locking the dog. I'm locking Brandon Royval. I think he's going to show Tatsuro Taira what levels are in the game. And Taira is only 24. 3 years from now, maybe Taira's the world champion. But this Saturday, Brandon Royval is going to be the winner. And he's going to give Taira a bit of a fraud check. I don't think Taira is a complete fraud or a scrub, but I definitely don't think he's to the level of Brandon Royval just yet. And he 100% has not proven it in any of his UFC fights. Whereas I know Royval can go a hard 5 rounds. We know Royval can strike well. He's got the gas tank to go to war, and he's dangerous everywhere. Watch out for Royval in all aspects of striking. He's good from long range. He's good from the mid range, and he's nasty and close. You have to watch out for more than just punches and kicks. Elbows and knees are there for him. I think Brandon Royval is being completely overlooked. I don't get it. I disagree with the odds completely. I think Royval should actually be the favorite, and that's why I'm locking him. Brandon Royval, my lock of the week for UFC Vegas 98. We're bringing the dog savagery, and the MMA gods, they're doing it right by us after the robbery on UFC 307. Let's keep running. Let's talk my most confident picks. We'll bring them up on the screen, and we're going to run one by one. Grant Dawson, minus 400. Yes, the line sucks, but there's a very low likelihood chance of him losing to Rocha Garcia. Now, I think Rocha Garcia is actually pretty good. He's got decent boxing skills. He can wrestle relatively well, depending upon the level that he's matched up with. Grant Dawson is an absolute beast at grappling, though. Good takedowns, good control, position over submission, very patient with his top control and grappling game. He's not going to rush towards getting you out of there. And I think Grant Dawson is on a path to the top 15. Aside from Bobby Green stinging him with the perfect shot, Grant Dawson's been perfect. Before he lost to Bobby Green, he bodied Damir Ismagulov, who is a very feared contender and one of the scarier strikers at the time at lightweight. I think Grant Dawson's really good, and I feel like he's going to be in the top 15 before we know it. And I think a win over Rocha Garcia is about as locky as we can get it. It's chalky locky zone. It's minus 400, but it's definitely happening. Now, I do think he's going to win a decision because Rocha Garcia is a tough dude. He's strong. He'll scramble well from the bottom. I don't think he gets submitted easily. He's also a little bit short and stocky. I think it'll be harder to lock up a choke on him. But I ultimately feel as though there's levels to the game, and Grant Dawson is top 15, and Garcia is more top 25. He's good, but he's not that good. Over 2.5 rounds also seems pretty damn likely, which is minus 265. So Grant Dawson, minus 400, a most confident pick. Most likely method, decision, and I think this fight's going all three with over 2.5 at minus 265. Both guys, lately been going distance. I know Dawson did get chinned by Bobby Green, and he's got some submissions. I mean, to be fair, he's got the submission of Marco Madsen, got the submission of Jared Gordon. He's got a finish of Leonardo Garcia, but there's still decisions in the mix, and I guess I do respect Rocha Garcia as just simply a stubborn and strong dude who's not going to be easy to tap. And that's why I favor Grant Dawson working hard for 3 rounds and winning a 30-27 decision. So Grant Dawson, a most confident pick. Next up, this is fun. Temerov. Do you know about him? Because if you don't, Ramazan Temerov is going to catch your attention this Saturday. He's fighting CJ Vergara, and I think he might catch a flyweight body. Temerov is a legit knockout artist at 125 pounds, which is essentially a rare feat. He's got 2 KO wins in Ryzen, 17-2 as a pro. The dude's got 10 knockout wins, and he's on an absolutely epic win streak right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fight win streak. Has not lost all the way since 2019. And he's a young guy still, really emerging in his prime now at 27. I think this dude is the future. I believe that he could make a run towards the top. He's a minus 340 favorite, but damn, this is the perfect matchup for him because CJ Vergara is a, savvy veteran, but he's a gatekeeping journeyman, and that's just the absolute facts about it. Knockout win for Temerov, I think, is live. I know it's flyweight, where knockouts are not nearly as common, but when you got a guy that's actually got a clean overhand right, explosive boxing, good wrestling, good pressure, good athleticism, you got to get behind it. Ramazan Temerov by KO plus 250 is the method of victory call. I think Temerov is an absolute high confidence lock and a potential world title challenger here in the future and maybe even champion. At minus 340, of course, we're riding with the OV to get the W over CJ Vergara. Ramazan Temerov, high confidence call, minus 340, and keep your eye on him. It's beyond just what goes down this weekend. I think big things are coming for him. Temerov's a savage. Let's keep running. Next up, we got Park. I'm going with the Iron Turtle. Why not? I don't think that this version of Brad Tavares can beat an Iron Turtle. I think Tavares has shown obvious signs of slowing down. He does have some stinging punching power, but he doesn't have much knockout ability. He's not really a finisher. I don't want to say the chin is questionable for Tavares at this point, but it's hard to say it isn't with recent losses coming by knockout. Bruno Silva destroyed him. Gregory Rodriguez destroyed him. In the midst of it, he has a win over a completely washed Chris Weidman. I think Jun Young Park is a guy that easily, if decision goes his favor last time out, which it could have, it was a weird fight with Muniz. He's on a 5-fight winning streak. Jun Young Park has been looking clean. His boxing is good. His wrestling is good. He brings a submission threat. He's incredibly well-rounded. He's actually deceptively fast, too. Jun Young Park is a guy that's super fun to watch, and I really like his style in this matchup against Brad Tavares. Now, I don't think it's a walk in the park because Tavares is always game, but I feel as though Jun Young Park is going to put it on him and get a nice win. Now, he's minus 190 as the favorite in this fight, and I appreciate seeing the odds not too crazy here because Brad Tavares is an OG gatekeeper. But damn, I'm telling you, Brad Tavares right now, 20-9. He's a 20-10 level fighter, whereas Jun Young Park is not 17-7. He's an 18-6 type of guy. So I'm going with Jun Young Park to win, not because of the damn records, but it would make a lot more sense if he was 18-6 and Tavares was 20-10. I just see that after this Saturday. I think Park's pace is a problem. I think his wrestling base is also a potential threat. And the fact he can take a good shot. Jun Young Park is gnarly. I like his skill set. I like his pressure. I like his boxing. I like his whole game. And I think he can outwork Brad Tavares over a hard 3 rounds, pick up a decision. It's plus 140 for decision, which is going to be the official method of victory prediction. Of course, as I'm calling a decision, you're potentially considering a minus 250 over 2.5 rounds as well. That also seems to have a good ring to it. And I will presume that we're seeing all 3, but I prefer Park on the money line in your parlays or potential straight bets as opposed to the over because Brad Tavares might be washed and the chin might be gone. A prime Brad Tavares loses a hard 3 rounds to this version of Jun Young Park. A Brad Tavares who's got some knockout losses, I'm worried he ends up getting finished. So I guess even though the official method of victory might be decision, I'm kind of feeling like I want to pull back on using those props as potential bets. I'm looking at inside distance at plus 250. I guess I'm just simply saying I wouldn't be crazy about touching it. If you're looking for degeneracy, Park by KO at plus 450 or a Park by submission at plus 900. To be fair, Jun Young Park is underrated on the ground. We think of his hands, but he's got 6 wins by submission. So maybe the better bet is to go degen and throw it down on Park at the plus 900 subline if you're one of those degen bet chasers and you don't want to lay the chalk down like Gianni the Greek would say and play Jun Young Park straight. So we're going with Park. High confidence call. Definitely in your parlays. Definitely a winner. Let's keep running. Chidi Bang Bang. Chidi Bang Bang. Chidi Njokuani. He's my guy. Okay? Simply put, I tried to pick Jared Gooden to beat him because I'm like, man, Chidi didn't look that great last time against Reese McKee. And then I rewatched it and I was like, oh yeah, I remember. That was just a weird judge's scorecard. He should have got a 30-27. Chidi Bang Bang's clean with it, and Jared Gooden is simply a flawed fighter. Now, I understand some people are not crazy about the side of Chidi Njokuani at minus 170. Maybe you're like, I don't want to lay chalk down on the 35-year-old, but you can't argue with me that he's a better Muay Thai striker than Gooden. Gooden's only way to win is a surprise knockout, whereas Njokuani is the better technical striker, and he's better on the ground. Jared Gooden, kind of with that slickster lead hand low style, but he's a brawler, and all that does is leave a lot of opportunities for strikes to land. And I think Njokuani is going to be touching him up this fight, so Chidi Bang Bang at minus 170 seems like a money call. That's what I'm predicting, is him getting it done. I'm going to say I think a knockout is live in this fight at plus 160 for Chidi Bang Bang. The under 2.5, if you can find it, it's around minus 180. But I'm seeing a fight ends inside distance at minus 200. I also think that is live. The way Gooden fights is not a decision style. The way Njokuani fights is really not normally a decision style either. And the only reason Reese McKee gave him a bit of struggle and was able to go long is because of how tall he is. And I think Chidi Njokuani looks better in this fight at minus 170. Now, I do know there's going to be some pundits out there who are like, bruh, I don't like Chidi Bang Bang at 35. I want to bet somebody else. So, as usual, I'm throwing in an honorable mention fifth. I'm going to say Themba Gorimbo should beat Niko Price as a confident pick. But it's an honorable mention for a reason. It's an alternate for the people that aren't feeling Njokuani, because I will say something. Niko Price is a talented fighter. I just simply don't believe he puts in the work to compete at a high level. Whereas on the contrary, Themba Gorimbo absolutely puts his soul into training. And that is why Gorimbo could fill the shoes of Njokuani and be your replacement as a most confident pick. But Niko Price, rather talented guy, I don't think he trains hard. I don't. Maybe I'm a hater for that, but I just simply don't in my heart believe Niko Price takes fighting 100% serious anymore, where Themba Gorimbo puts his soul into this shit. He's at Extreme Couture. He's working his ass off with top-level guys. Themba Gorimbo is trying to become something in fighting, whereas I think Niko Price just likes a good fight. And I got to favor a guy who's taking this serious as a professional athlete. And that's why Gorimbo could be your alternate. But he's chalky as hell at minus 350. Now, I want to jump to the next section, the favorite underdogs. Now, the lock of the week is an underdog this week, so we got one left. There's a savage dog who's calling my name. Dan Argueta is barking in my ear. He said, listen, bro, don't sleep on me against this young kid. I think that Dan Argueta could probably take down a Cody Haddon and pressure wrestle for 3 hard rounds. Until I see Cody Haddon beat a guy like Dan Argueta, how can I pick him against a guy like Dan Argueta? Who's he beaten, guys? Come on. Be real with me. Cody Haddon looks clean. I'm a fan. But before he fought Billy Brand, which Billy Brand's a prospect, before he jumped on Contender Series, right? His win was against Paul Loga, who you have to beat to be considered a top guy in Australia and work your way to the damn Contender Series. But where are the massive wins? Raja Shippen? Come on, man. He's got a loss to Steve Erceg. Okay, but he went distance 2021, Steve Erceg. I think we're going to see the side of Dan Argueta. Pressure, wrestle, and control. Dan Argueta needs not to be slept on. He has a win in LFA over Myron Santos, who just looked awesome winning the Ultimate Fighter. He was doing well with Gene Matsumoto, who's an undefeated Brazilian fighter, before he getting caught in a damn gilly. So if he doesn't get caught in a gilly here, I think he should be good to win 3 hard. I'm going to pick Dan Argueta to wrestle fuck Cody Haddon, and I think he's being slept on. He's plus 155 as the dog. I do predict this fight probably goes all rounds. A decision win for Argueta sits at plus 300, and over 2.5 sitting at minus 165. All 3 of those actually have a nice ring to them, but I would rather just go straight money line bet if you want to touch who's to win instead of the prop. And if you want to just bet time, over 2.5 does seem rather likely. The way I see the fight is Haddon needs to keep it striking from range. Most likely, Dan Argueta doesn't allow that to happen because of his absolute stubborn pressure style. And he's also absolutely stacked with muscle, and he's strong as an ox. Don't sleep on Dan Argueta. He's with the damn solid team, Cub Swanson's crew over there. And, Rafa Garcia is part of that same crew. Those guys are tough as fuck. And you can't sleep on a guy who's got experience like Argueta, who's been in the UFC for a while. I mean, he was whooping Ronnie Lawrence with a premature stoppage, but he did win that fight. He's fought good opposition. Damon Jackson, Miles Johns. He's coming off a loss, sure, against Gene Matsumoto, but he was doing well in that fight. And I think Matsumoto is a highly touted prospect, higher than Cody Haddon. So to see Argueta again as an underdog, I'm not missing the opportunity. Dan Argueta, underdog call for me. I'm picking him in this one. And those are my favorite dogs, Argueta and, of course, the lock, Brandon Royval. We got to jump to the next section. Make sure you guys smash the likes and show me some love, especially through the Storm video today that I'm dropping for you all. Degen Props. I'm going to ride with big three, one over under, and then I got two methods of victory props. Alhassan by knockout. He probably knocks out Josh Fremd. Reason it's not a lock is because Alhassan can be rather inconsistent at times, and it would be worrisome. But most likely he's getting a KO, and I do think Alhassan's taking a nice win home this Saturday. Daniel Rodriguez, I believe, beats this current version of Alex Morono. He's a really chalky money line. Decision makes a lot of sense. It's plus 150 for the decision. And then one more. The ladies going after it. We got Palastri and McKenna over 2.5 rounds at minus 400. I will anticipate the ladies take their time, fight 3 hard, and I think Palastri is going to take home a win. Those are the Degen props. I want to run it up to the fame section, to the fan favorite section. We got to talk this week's parlays. Let's go. We got the savage mode this week, but real quick, I want to show you some W's last week. So we were on point. Aldo sold me on anything Degen because we got robbed. You know who didn't sell me? No, Aldo didn't. I take it back. We were robbed by these freaking controversial judges scoring stalling as opposed to effective striking. But it's okay because we got fire this week. These are the parlays for this week, and things are looking clean in my opinion. Already, I'm loving it. Dawson and Temerov. Bow down to the supremacy. I'm telling you it's winning. Minus 146. I think it's safe. Now, if you don't want to bet a guy who's debuting, but bro, he's an OV, trust. Dawson and Park should also win at minus 106. I think that is safe too. But hey, I got to give respect to the people that don't want to bet debuting guys, especially against veterans, even though the veteran that he's fighting is not that good. But either way, we're going down to the next one. Quality. I did a little Valentina Shevchenko. Quality over quantity, okay? We got a quality plus 165 with 3 winners, Dawson, Temerov, and Park. I like this one. Keep it running. We're throwing more confident calls. You add in Enja Kawani 2. Now we're live at plus 316. I also think that one's still quality too. I want to do a little alternate action. I thought to myself, okay, I'm good with the flyweight division. I think I got money calls this week. We're going to ride it up. Royval, the underdog lock. Temerov, a most confident pick. Plus 336 for that live play right there. And it's definitely better than betting Temerov at a chalky line down the center. Adding in some more steam, if you still like those two, you add in Grant Dawson. Now you're nearly at plus 500, plus 439. I think it's a money call with Grant Dawson alongside of Temerov and Royval. A little flyweight supremacy with Grant Dawson in the mix. Now, if you want a little alternate action, you like Temerov, as do I. Carpenter, I feel as though beats an overrated Lucas Rocha, plus 105 for a little alternate. But we need more. Park and Kawani and Temerov, okay? This is if you don't want to play the side of Dawson and you think Enja Kawani's a better fit. Maybe for some of you, this is Gorimbo instead of Enja Kawani, but the odds will not be nearly as nice. Plus 237, another quality call. Now, I wanted to do some flyweight supremacy because I think that I got some money calls with the flyweight division this week. Royval, Temerov, and Carpenter at plus 555. All of them 5-star fighters. Carpenter, I think a 5-star prospect. Temerov, I think he's a 10-star prospect, to be honest. And Royval, just an absolute 5-star savage. 555, flyweight supremacy. It's a good call. I'm feeling that one a lot. Now, I wanted to just parlay up all of the Degen props because I feel like I'm pretty good at calling these Degen props, so I'd rather just run it up in a parlay for fun. Alhassan by KO, D-Rod by decision, and the Palastri McKenna over 2.5 at plus 550. Seems like a really likely 5-1 play. So there it is if you're looking for a little Degen prop parlay. Now, to throw another Degen one out, Grant Dawson by decision with Temerov, Park, and Enja Kawani. So it's essentially all the confident picks, but just picking Dawson's method of victory to take down the chalk a tad. You do get plus 477, which I think is a live Degen call. Now, if you just want to go the underdogs, my favorite underdogs on the night. And listen, I've been calling dogs pretty well. I called Money Moicano. Many people did not believe it. Okay? Chris Duncan, Daniel Barr is on that same card. There's been some big underdog calls this year. Oban Elliott to get it done. and it should have been Jose Aldo last week. This week, Royval and Argueta have got my attention. Plus 716 for the underdog parlay, which I think is coming through. And then if you just want to go Degen Savage mode to close it out, you got Raw Dog Royval, Grant Dawson, Temarov Park, Enja Kawani, and you throw Themba Gorimbo because you need some big plus money. You're trying to make cash quick. Plus 1623 for the Degen Savage call to close out the parlay section this week. I think we got fire. I'm really excited for this weekend's card, and I think we're going to get some big W's. Thank you guys for tuning in. Smash the likes. If you're new, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on because I got daily content. I got a hurricane coming my way. Your boy's going to be okay. Don't worry. Yes, I'm in Tampa, but I'll be all right. I'm hoping that we can just keep the consistent fire going through the storm. I got a contact, a friend of mine who's got a generator and a studio set up, which is the backup plan if things don't happen to be functioning right here. So expect me to still be dropping the fire as much as possible. But if for some reason the channel goes dark and you don't see me, it's simply because I don't have any access to internet. That would be the main way. That will be the only reason. So keep it locked in right here at MMA Experts. I am AJ, MMA Expert. And I'm doing it. I'm running it up. I'm feeling good this week. I'm feeling great. Let me know what you thought in the comments of everything. I'm going for a dog lock again because I'm feeling like a savage. If you got nothing to say in the comments, but you just enjoy the content, W in the chat. Boost the algorithm for your boy. I will see you all in the next one. Much love, everybody. Stay safe out there, and I see you soon. Peace.